welcome back to my math lesson videos. Before we get started today, I have a couple of announcements. First off, it's Monday, which means we have Student of the Week still. For Period 1, Student of the Week is Gian. Gian did a great job finishing all of his assignments this week and having a good attitude on the video chat. For Period 4, Ania is our Student of the Week. She got all of her work done, all of her assignments done, and then she passed her focus area with a 10 out of 10. Great job, Ania. And then for Period 5, our Student of the Week is Demir. Demir got all of his assignments done and also passed his focus area and really showed a lot of perseverance. So good job, Demir. Another announcement, feel free to watch this video more than once. When you're working on the checkpoint, if you get stuck, it's a good thing to turn back to the video and see if you missed anything that could help you on the checkpoint. Also, YouTube has some cool features. You can hit the bottom of the video and hit captions so that you can see what I'm saying and be able to read it. You can also hit settings and change the playback speed. So if I am talking too fast for you, you can change the settings so that I speak slower. If I am speaking too slowly, if you want this video to hurry up, you can change the playback speed so that it's faster. And then lastly, this assignment that we're going to talk about is due before tomorrow. So if you don't finish it during the class period, please finish it before you go to bed tonight. Virtual learning requires that you do some work after school sometimes if you don't get all of your assignments done. So please make sure checkpoint number 1 is done before tomorrow and that you request feedback and then check if I've made any corrections before tomorrow. Okay, let's jump in. So today we're talking about the number line again, and this time we're talking about where we can see this in real life. Number lines aren't just for math class. We actually use them every day and you might not even realize it. So we're going to focus on the first part of the number line, the top section. We have our number line again. Starts at 0. Positive numbers are on the right, they're in red. Negative numbers are in blue on the left-hand side. The first real-life example is temperature. Every day you might check your weather app and see what the temperature is outside and what you should wear. If it's warm, you might want to go without a jacket, wear a t-shirt, wear shorts. But if it's cold, you might think, oh, I need to bring a jacket to school today. So temperature is really important, and we're going to talk about Celsius. In the United States, we use Fahrenheit to measure temperature, but in other countries, they use Celsius. Our first question when we talk about number lines is, what does the 0 represent? With temperature in Celsius, the 0 represents the freezing point. That's where water turns to ice. So if it's 0 degrees out in Celsius, that means that the roads could become slippery because water or snow turns to ice. Positive numbers in temperature means that it's getting warmer outside. So that's when you start to think, oh, maybe I don't need my jacket. Positive numbers come to the right side, and as you get further away from 0, it's getting warmer out. And that's why I put that sun there, to represent it getting warmer. Now, we can focus on the negative side of the number line. Negative numbers represent it getting colder out. I put snowflakes. So as you get further away from 0, it gets even colder out. Negative 10 degrees is pretty cold, but negative 50 degrees is even colder because we're further away from our starting point. We're further away from 0, our freezing point. Okay, so now we're going to move on to another example, elevation. Elevation is how high something is above the ocean or how far below the ocean something is. And I'm going to share some pictures of places I've traveled where I've thought about elevation. So again, when we look at a number line, we have to ask ourselves, what does the 0 represent? So when we're talking about elevation, the 0 represents sea level. And I'm going to show you a picture of the beach. This picture is of Miami Beach in Florida, and I went there a few years ago. And that picture of the beach is sea level. We're not underwater, and we're not on top of the water. We're right at sea level. When we move to the right with elevation, we're getting further above sea level. And I like to think about mountains when we talk about elevation. So the first picture that I'm going to show is my friend Diana and I when we went to Rainbow Mountain in Peru. We hiked really high up a mountain, and this picture is taken at the very top. This mountain was 17,000 feet above sea level. So way, way, way higher than sea level. Way higher than 0 feet. We're at 17,000 feet. And it's so high that we needed sunglasses because the sun was so bright. We were closer to the sun and it got brighter out. The second picture I'm going to show is me in New Hampshire. I was at the top of a mountain that was about 3,000 feet above sea level. So not as high as Peru, but still pretty high, and you could see the road below us. We were way higher than the ocean, way higher than the road. So when we think about elevation, the positive numbers mean how high we are on a mountain or above sea level. Now we look at the negative numbers. With elevation, negative numbers mean how far below the ocean you are. So I drew the ocean with some fish. So I'm going to show a picture from St. John, which is an island really close to Puerto Rico, and you can see some a sea turtle and people snorkeling. So the sea turtle is under the ocean. It might be -10, -20 feet below sea level, below the water. As you get further underwater, the negative numbers get further away from sea level. -50 is much lower under the ocean. When you snorkel, you might stay just 10 feet below the ocean, but if you were to scuba dive, you had an oxygen tank on, you'd get even further below sea level, maybe -50 feet below sea level. So now we have some questions. Is -30 degrees warmer or colder than -40 degrees? So we're going to look at our number line. We're talking about negative numbers, so we're on the left side of the number line in the blue numbers. -30, is that going to be warmer or colder than -40 degrees? I want you to think for a second. What do you think? Okay, so -30 is warmer than -40 degrees because it's closer to 0, it's closer to our warmer numbers. -40 is further away, which means that it's going to be colder. Now, you might be thinking, but Miss, 40 is way higher than 30, so shouldn't it be warmer? That's not true when it comes to negative numbers. Negative numbers means how far from 0 it is. So -40 degrees is 40 degrees away from 0. So that's going to be even colder. Whereas -30 is only 30 away from 0, so it's closer. Now let's look at our second question. Is -20 feet higher or lower than -10 feet? So we're going to look here again. We're in the negative side. Is -20 feet, is that going to be higher or lower than -10 feet? So we know if we're talking about elevation, negative numbers mean we're under the ocean. So if we're at -20 feet, are we going to be closer to sea level, to the beach, or are we going to be further underwater? -20 is going to be further underwater because we are further away from 0. -10, that might be where the sea turtle is, where the snorkelers are. They're not too far away from sea level because they can swim up and breathe and then go back down. But when you're further below sea level, -20 feet, you're further underwater. Okay, so assignment for today is checkpoint number 1 on Summit. Please finish it, request feedback, and I will be doing feedback continuously throughout the period. So check back to see my corrections and see if I mark you green, yellow, or red. Bye guys, see you later.